Parents, if you struggle with executive function yourself and you have a child who struggles with executive function, so they're struggling with organization, time management, prioritizing, all these sorts of executive function skills, and you are a parent who struggles with this stuff yourself, how can you help? I've had this question a lot, and there are probably also some teachers out there who struggle with executive function who can adapt the information that I'm about to discuss to your own teaching practice. What's up, everybody? My name is Seth with SethPerler.com. I'm an executive function coach, but there we go, based out of Colorado, and I help struggling students navigate this thing called education so that they can have a great life. And I got this email. It says, "Hey, Seth, I heard you on Tilt Parenting Podcast," which is a podcast with Debbie Reber, awesome podcast, and love everything you have to say. My son is 2E, so the child is twice exceptional, but is only in third grade, so I think he is still too young to benefit from your coaching. I will tell you that I do work with younger students sometimes, by the way, and if you have a younger child, and you follow my work and you wonder if it's relevant, yes, it is. The reason I work mostly with middle and high school is because younger kids, often the red flags aren't red enough and parents aren't doing anything about it or noticing how impactful the challenges are going to be. So anyhow, so you can take everything that I say and look at the principles behind what I say and adapt that to different ages. Either way. I was wondering if your blog ever addressed what to do if a parent also suffers from executive functioning issues, they ask. Going through my son's journey with him made me realize that I also have ADHD and inattentive type, and a lot of executive functioning issues. I end up feeling terrible about myself because I feel like I'm failing my son. If you've covered this on your blog, could you send me a link? If not, is this a topic you would consider addressing? Thanks for all you do. Yes, I will address it right now. So, first of all, there is a concept called modeling. And what that means is that, oftentimes there's the saying, do as I say, not as I do. And that's a horrible saying because children don't do what you say, not what you do. They do what you do. Children are learning dysfunctional patterns, functional patterns from us. They're learning by watching us. No matter what we say, they're learning by watching our actions. So we are models to our kids. And when you as a parent model self-care, that you care about yourself enough to take care of yourself, that you care about yourself enough to read books about how to develop who you are, that you care about yourself to get an executive function coach or a therapist or help with something, that you care about yourself enough to develop skills and work on your executive function in this case, or whatever the case may be. You are modeling to your child by your behavior, not by your words, but you're modeling to yourself that, hey, I'm worth it. Me, the parent, I love myself. I care about myself. I show it through my actions. I'm taking difficult, challenging steps to improve myself. I work through things that are hard. I don't just get stuck and stay stuck. I work through it. And you are showing them, hey, kiddo, guess what? In order to be an adult, these are the things you do. And obviously, if you don't do those things, you're teaching them, hey, kiddo, when you're an adult, you avoid these things. You pretend they don't exist. We model these things, and our kids are learning from the different models we provide. So my first thing in terms of helping you or helping a parent or helping a teacher understand this, you said, I feel terrible about myself because I'm feeling like I'm failing my son. Well, one of the best things that you can do is work on yourself, and your child will see that. Now, that's one thing. But another thing that is more concrete than that is when you, as an adult, are learning your own system. So basically, if you've seen my assessment on my website, or you look at the executive function article, but when you are working on the executive function things, those are essentially adaptable in the same things that your child is trying to learn. So as you're implementing those new strategies in your life, talking about it with your child, even if they're a teenager and they're resistant, just having some conversation, say, hey, you know what? I'm really disorganized and I'm going to downsize, minimize, and declutter my life. So this is one example. So with my students, I often downsize, minimize, and help them declutter. There are three main areas. One is mental decluttering. I'm not going to talk about mental, but I will talk about digital, and I will talk about physical decluttering. So let's say you've decided as the parent you have executive function struggles, and one of the things you want to do for your executive function struggles is you want to downsize, minimize, essentialize. You want to get rid of clutter, declutter your life, your physical life and your digital life. And you ask your kiddo, you say, hey, can I ask you some advice? Literally ask your kid. I'm working on decluttering my life. I have too much clutter. I want to focus more on the things that are really important to me in this lifetime. Life is short. I really want to enjoy the things that matter the most and prioritize those. And part of the way I'm going to do that, kiddo, is by getting rid of clutter that really is not enhancing my life and keeping the stuff that really does enhance my life and taking better care and valuing that even more. So, kiddo, do you have any advice for me, your parent? What do you think I should do? How should I declutter the garage, the bathrooms, the kitchen, the cabinets, the drawers, the bedrooms, the closets? What ideas do you have for me? And really listen to them. Really genuinely ask for their thoughts and their input. Really have open dialogue about that. You just modeling that dialogue with them will likely inspire them to be thinking along those lines. So again, you're not telling them, hey, here's what you should do, but you're saying, you know what, I'm going to do this for me. And that is very powerful. So I want to recommend that, yeah, I understand that you feel bad about this, but as you work on your stuff and you say, hey, I need to declutter. Hey, I need to organize my papers. My kid needs to organize their papers. They have folders or binders or accordions or a mess of papers in their backpack or their locker or their desk. I have my piles of papers, my things that need to be filed, my things that need to be recycled, my things that need to be shredded, my things that need to be dealt with. And as you start taking on those projects and talking about them, hey, how do you think I should organize my papers? What have you learned? How should I make files? Where should as you start, but you should start working on the same things they are working on. So anyhow, there is the decluttering. There is the managing papers like your kid has to. There is the managing the backpack. Your kid has to manage a backpack. You may have to manage a workspace, a purse, a drawer, a briefcase, whatever your equivalent to a backpack is. You can start working on that more. You will want to work on your planning or calendaring or agendas and learning how to better schedule and do better plans, and because that's part of executive function, et cetera, et cetera. So the point is that you, A, are going to model things for them, and I want you to understand the power of modeling, and B, you are going to look at, you can use my systems assessment where I break down all the systems for kids and see how they adapt to you. Make your own systems assessment, and really in the next year, work on your systems. Your life's not going to be perfect, but you want to get better. Just like with the kids, we want them to improve these things. You want to improve those things and make it concrete for yourself. Set yourself up for success. Reward yourself, reward your baby steps, and all that stuff. And you have a third grader, when I'm working with people, and particularly when people ask me, well, how do I adapt this to adults, and how do I adapt this to younger kids? Look at the principles that I teach that are behind everything. I say the same thing over and over and over in a million different ways. So consider the principles, because it's not about having a planner. It's about developing these skills for planning. It's not about having the best organizational systems. It's about developing better organizational systems. It's about these principles behind organization and planning and time management and prioritizing and emotional regulation and all these things. So just adapt it to yourself. Like, I've done all the work for you. I geek out on this. I obsess on this. This is my life. I've spent years and years and years figuring this stuff out. Just keep it simple. Know that this is what I've dedicated my life to. You've dedicated your life to other stuff. Take what I've done and say, okay, it's good enough. How do I adapt it to me? Like, keep it simple on yourself, The information's here. Use it, adapt it. And I think that is about it. I'm going to wrap this one up. My name is Seth with SethPerler.com. I always forget what side this is on. That is me right there, SethPerler.com. I'm an executive function coach in Colorado. If you want to sign up, I send you some freebies and a Sunday update on my website, and I post stuff every week for you. And I try to give solutions so that you can help your kids. So anyhow, have a great day. I will see you soon.